Well, I figured I'd do another little update. As you can see, I've got my arm in a sling. Having issues with my rotator cuff again. We're getting a little bit of snow right now. I'm gonna flip the camera around and let y'all see what's going on. Okay, this is some of my equipment here, parked, covered in snow. But got my snowshoes on. This snow's a little too deep to try to walk through. It's about knee deep going out through here, but I'm gonna go take a walk down through the woods here. There's a road that goes through the woods and runs along the creek, and I'll probably stop and take a few pictures, maybe some videos, and let y'all see what it looks like. Okay, I've got the stick stuck in the snow. That's all the way to the ground. And that's how deep the snow is here. That's probably close to 20 inches, I would imagine. But like I said, trying to walk out here without snowshoes, you would be wearing yourself out. Okay, this is the edge of the little field here going down into the woods. Down at the bottom of the hill here is the first creek crossing where it's been washed out. And here's the first creek crossing where this has been washed out. Right back in there is where that big ash tree and black cherry fell and was blocking the creek. That's the spot in a previous video where I showed you I cut all that and cleared it out. You can see the creek is pretty much covered with snow. Water's still running underneath there, so it's not completely frozen, but it is covered with snow. Okay, this is the second creek crossing. There's a little pool on this side of the creek crossing, and you can see it's pretty much froze over. Like I said, the creek is pretty much covered. And I don't know how well y'all can see, but if you look back up by the tree line, you can see where deer have been going up the hill there. I don't know how clear it is if you can see it, but I mean, there's deer tracks all back here where they're coming down off the hill down into the creek bottom. This is a spot where two creeks come together. One comes down through there, and this is the main creek. There's back up where the little pool was, there's two creeks come together right there also. And I've got one other spot where the creek comes in. Well, this is one of my favorite spots down here. Okay, this is the third creek crossing, and the last creek crossing on the property. Back over there's where my fence line is. We'll take a walk over there. Alright, this is part of my fence, and that's a 4-foot fence. The T-posts are 5.5 foot. There's 4 barbed wires on there, but you can only see 3. These are 12 inches apart, so that's almost 24 inches of snow right there. Not quite. It's probably about 6 inches shy. But this fence runs back to the corner of the property. This is the one that I put up this past fall. This is a section that goes between the 2 creeks. Okay, that big stump right there in front of us, that's the tree that marks the corner. My neighbor's got a fence that runs the back side of the property, but it's just 1 strand of barbed wire. I still need to put a corner post here, come across this creek here, and then I'm going to redo the back fence eventually. This is the other end of the 500-foot section of fence I put in. Like I said, this runs between 2 creeks. This is another creek I've got to cross. And I've got to go up probably about a 50-foot hill right there. And that'll put me on the lower pasture. So I've still got to work that section. That probably won't be till spring. Okay, this is the 3rd creek crossing. Grandpa used to have a big sluice pipe right here, and the road used to go up the hill right here. Now the road's still up there, but the sluice pipe is long gone. It got washed away back in early 80s. I cut a little road here where I can get access back to the top. When I was a kid, Grandpa used to plant oats back there. That was probably about a 3-acre field up on top of the hill here. And when the road washed out, Grandpa never came back out here. And like I said, there's about 40 years worth of growth back there. So can't really do much with that anymore. It'll have to all be clear cut if I ever want to do anything with it. Okay, right here's where the road used to come up the hill. I'm standing on the edge right here, and let's see if I can get turned around. The road runs up that way. So we'll go take a walk up to the top. Okay, I'm standing at the top of the road, and as you can see, all of this was a field at one time. It's all completely growed over. Like I said, this was probably about a 3-acre field, maybe a little bigger, but it's completely growed over now. And it's thick like this all the way to the fence line. Okay, I'm up on top of the bluff. It's about 50 feet down to the bottom of where the creek bed is, or the creek bottom. The creek runs along the other side of the hill over there. But this is a nice, pretty place up here. Nice and peaceful. Nice and quiet. Nice place to sit and just enjoy nature. This is another nice spot up on the ridge. I don't know if you look right about there, you can, that's the back fence line. That would be the east fence line that runs up the hill, comes back here. You can see, I'm sorry, that's west. That's the east fence line. It runs right down there. I don't know, you can, that's where we were at just a little while ago. But this is another pretty spot up here. Nice and quiet. You don't hear any, you know, we're about a mile back in the woods and you don't hear any traffic or anything like that. See a lot of deer out here. Okay, right here, that's a couple of original posts that Grandpa and my uncle put in. That was a H brace at one time, and that fence runs downhill, and I'm gonna tell you, that is a steep drop. That's gonna be fun trying to build that. But once you get up here on top, it's not that bad. But coming up that hill is going to be a challenge. All right, this is another bluff here with a creek running down here at the bottom. This is looking west along the south fence line. Let's see if I can get turned around here. That's a little trail here that I cut along the fence line. So once I do get out here and can put up fence, I got a nice clear area to work. All right, this is the road that goes up the hill out of the creek bottom, goes up to the lower pasture. So we'll take a walk up that way. Okay, this is on the other side of the bluff, looking down at the creek bottom. Okay, this is the north side of the property. Right down here across the creek is where I ended the fence line. I've got to come across the creek and then come up this bluff here. It's probably only about 30 foot, but I don't know how well you could see it on the video, but it's steep. I mean, it's almost a straight drop. So that's going to be another fun part to fence. Okay, this is the north fence line. You can see there's still a few of the posts and some of the original fence that was here that my grandpa and my uncle put up. I've stretched my string through here so I can put my T-post in eventually. And that string goes all the way to where that last H brace is across the creek, up the hill, and then along this fence line, probably another 100 yards up this way where it stops. All right, right here on this tree, that's where my string line stops. As you can see, I've still got a lot to clear out here. Fence line is back on this side. So from here out, all that's got to be cut. And I think where we're at right now, that's about 500 feet or so to where my last H-brace is. I'm thinking I may put another H-brace here. I don't know. I don't want to string barbed wire too far without an H-brace. And then the rest of it will be T-post every 12 feet. That seemed to work pretty good down on the bottom, so I believe that's what I'll do. All right, this is the north fence line here. It runs back about 100 yards to where my string line ends, so I've probably got 30 or 40 feet that I've got to cut and clear from here out to where those trees are there. So I still got a lot of clearing to do. Okay, this is the north fence line. Right up here is where I stopped clearing. This is the upper pasture. And get turned around here. These are some of my brush piles. And then I've got that section down there pretty much cleared out. I've still got some more to do, but it's clear enough where I can walk through there now. Alright, there's a couple of deer beds right here where they've been bedding down. And there's the trailer right there. I mean, they were right out my back door, bedded down. Alright, this is the hay field here. And right here where this little grove of trees was, when I was a kid, there was an old shack there. Grandpa had a guy that lived there. He was kind of like the caretaker. But that was the only structure on the property until my uncle built the trailer. There was never any barns or any buildings other than that little shack.